Good afternoon, everyone. On the lower East Drift Zone, Fissure 8 is still active. It continues to erupt lava into the Perch Channel that extends down on the west side of Kapoho Crater and feeds lava into the ocean. This morning, the main ocean entry was a little bit west of Ahalanui, with the flow margin about 500 meters or 3/10 of a mile from the Pohoiki boat ramp. There's still some weak ocean entry points to the north of this main entry over near the Kapoho Bay lobe of lava, where there were some weak wispy plumes there. The flow front along the ocean along the coast is still about 6 kilometers wide or 3.7 miles wide. On the lower East Drift Zone, the sulfur dioxide emissions remain high, and the ocean entry hazards include the Lays plume as well as the possible hydrovolcanic explosions, what we referred to on Monday as littoral explosions. Hydrovolcanic is a little more intuitive word to explain the lava-seawater interaction. Up at the summit, as we speak, earthquakes are occurring at a rate of about 25 to 30 per hour as the volcano builds up to the next collapse event. The previous collapse event was at 1:28 a.m. on July 18th, so it's been about 36 hours. So we are within that time interval where we typically see these collapses occur. At the summit, the sulfur dioxide emissions are low. We'll be posting some new photos and a new map right shortly after this media call.
Our first question comes from Caleb Jones with the Associated Press. Your line is open.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm curious about the presentation that's going to happen tonight, where USGS folks are going to talk about the possibility of an explosive event and the different scenarios around that event. Can you give us a little idea of what that might be and some of the reasons for that meeting tonight?
Hi, Caleb. This is Janet Babb with the USGS. The meeting was organized by the county, and USGS was invited to speak there. It's similar to the meeting that was held in Volcano on July 5th, where there was, there's been concern about the summit collapse if it could lead to more serious or more catastrophic activity. And while the probability is quite low, it's not zero. And so the mayor called the meeting to talk about what the possibilities are. We do have a document on our website. So if you go to the USGS Hawaiian Volcano Observatory website, on the home page, in the lower left corner under the heading HVO News, the document is there, and it talks about the possibilities and of the scenarios. And so the meeting tonight will be similar. HVO will give a short presentation talking about what's happening and what the low probability could be. But then my understanding is that also there will be the county speakers talking about the more practical matters of if there is an ash event, what to do and how to shelter as far in keeping roads open and so on and so forth.
Thank you, Janet.
Our next question comes from Austin Westfall with Hawaii News Now. Your line is open.
Hi, it's been over 2 months now since we've seen lava come out of the Pu'uo'o vent and its surrounding area. I'm wondering if this is a different kind of silence than what we've seen from this vent in its 35-year history.
Well, it is different in that we're not seeing any signs of volcanic activity at Pu'uo'o right now, but I don't know that we're ready to declare it completely dead and gone, until we see really what takes place with the activity in the lower East Drift Zone. So you're correct, the Pu'uo'o vent was a site of activity for 35 years from the time it started in January 1983 up until April 30th of this year when the magma the magma was drawn from Pu'u'o and migrated down the lower east drift zone. But I don't think we're ready to declare Pu'u'o dead and gone forever because we just really don't know.
Our next question comes from Michael Bostevensky with Hawaii Tribune Herald. Your line is open.
Hi, thanks. Looking at the most recent USGS map, it looks like Cape Kumakahi is still the easternmost point of the Big Island, although it's tough to gauge whether or how close it is to not being that. Has that happened yet? Has the lava flow exceeded the easternmost point of the island? And if it hasn't, when might that happen?
I would agree with you, Michael, that it does, by looking at our map, that it does appear that the point east of Cape Kumakahi is still slightly more east of the easternmost point of the new land that has been created from the ocean entry. That area where the new land extends the farthest to the east, that's in the area where the ocean entry has slowed down quite a bit that I mentioned this morning. There's lava still oozing into the ocean up there on the northern side of this delta, but not like it is on the southern side. And so it's really hard to say if it will continue growing and extending out and may become the new easternmost point of the island.
Our next question comes from Andrew Hay with Reuters. Your line is open.
Surge of lava that it appears to cause from Fissure 8. I wondered what risks those lava surges presented, and I also wondered if there was any chance that Monday's literal explosion was in any way connected with these lava surges, a sudden additional burst of lava entering the ocean, causing that type of blast.
So the risks from the surges, if and when the lava channel is at a high level and there is a surge, we can get overflows from over the channel levees. And so that is probably the greatest risk. And then as the volume of lava, if it's increasing, it moves on down the channel, these overflows can happen anywhere along the channel. Many of these overflows have not extended beyond the existing flow field. There have been some overflows that have entered into land that had not yet been covered. As far as the relationship between the surge and the hydrovolcanic explosion that occurred early Monday morning, that probably isn't the cause. These hydrovolcanic explosions can happen at any time. Anytime lava enters the ocean, there is potential for hydrovolcanic explosions. There can be this explosive interaction of the molten lava, the hot lava, and the cooler seawater. So I don't think we would attribute that explosion to one of these surges.
Okay, thank you.
Our next question comes from Nina Wu with Honolulu Star Advertiser.
Oh, hi there. Good afternoon. First of all, I was just wondering, I see here from the update, we're now about 0.3 miles from the boat ramp at Pohuiki. So I don't know if we can predict, but by day's end, will Pohuiki boat ramp be covered, or do we know?
I mean, this is Janet Babb. There's no way to forecast that. It really depends on the advance of the lava, which, as you know, can change at any time. It can slow down, it can speed up, it can stall altogether. So we're watching it closely, and we will continue to update folks.
You mentioned that the volume of lava coming out of this is really high compared to previous flows. Why is the volume so high? I think you mentioned the number coming going into the ocean right now. What is behind this high volume, or what's driving that large volume?
Hi, Nina. This is Janet Babb. Well, essentially, right now we have magma from the summit reservoir headed down through the rift zone, and there's more leaving the summit than is being resupplied to the summit area. I mean, that explains the collapse of the summit as well as the volume of lava moving down through the rift zone. And As far as an exact reason for why, I don't know that we have an exact reason why.